Hello, and welcome to Presence Practice with Poonam and Parker. Hey everyone. Hey Poonam.
Hello.
Hello. So on tap today, we have noticing the need to explain. I know this one well because one of my many complaints that I carried around was not being understood. I just need to explain myself better, and then they'll understand me and care about me. So it's good to sit in the uncomfortableness, right? When we approach these things, if for me, I had a pretty thick pattern of needing to explain better. And we can just drop it, because with the explanation, we're just trying to grab hold of a cloud. It's this formless identity that is based on everyone's experiences and perceptions up until that point, especially if there's a near complete unconsciousness. So, and allow the diminishment if that happens, if that, and sit with it. And when we can have our presence power so alert to the perceptions and so alert to what arises, and we have our compassionate and loving attention on the contraction as it appears in our body, and we can notice it. We're just aware of it. We're aware that we're not turning away from it. We allow it to be and drop it. And so the higher vibration of explaining is sharing, and that feels a lot different than explaining ourselves. So I could go and we could talk about, well, what if something broke in the process and you need to explain what happened? That's very different. So I'm trying to correct this ever-changing form identity and needing to be understood, needing the person to know that we came from a good space. If we came from a good space, the impulse is there, right? That the purity of our behavior in the world tells us about how much consciousness we're putting in the world. So it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to sell your point. Or you explain because there's a fixed opinion that needs to be sorted. Or explain some insufficiency that we think that we have that is put upon. I can tell you that the whole vein of apologizing all the time, people have said, I'm going to try and stop apologizing all the time, is in the same vein. So it's a very different vibration with with the difference between explaining and sharing. The feeling of that is very similar to the difference between saying, thank you for waiting. Well, I know I was late for the appointment. So sorry I'm late. Bags are throwing down and gonna hurry now. And it's the energy field of that is chaotic. But the thank you is completely different. And then it's dropped and we move on to what's next, and it's not a cloud hanging over the rest of the present moments that I'm spending with that person and that we are. So that is a beautiful entrance way in, noticing the need to explain into patterns. So if you're ready to end suffering and recognize unconscious patterns, sitting with a desire to explain or correct and not doing it, just not doing it, just being present with it. It's like you're holding space for that insanity, not just for you, but for us, for the world, we all benefit. And solidarity too. It's, as we walk this path together, it's so beautiful knowing that what's holding things together are people like you and I, willing to liberate this density that we find in ourselves one at a time, waking up, everything in perfect order. You know that feeling to look, to sit and not explain. I've heard you tell stories before, and it had the energy of you not explaining, you just holding the space, and it was really beautiful.
I don't remember what it was about before, but one of the things as you were speaking that arose in my mind is Byron Katie's has this meme or quote, defense is an act of war, right? So explaining ourselves away has that low frequency vibration of defensiveness, that we are somewhere in the back of our mind, we are feeling guilty. Like if I take your example of relate to something, then trying to explain it away, right? Instead of the loving kindness of saying, thank you for waiting. So you're showing empathy in that moment. You're showing empathy and compassion that the other person waited on for us. So thank you for waiting. I'm sorry I'm late. And it ends at that. No guilt, no shame, no blame, no why did the car, why did somebody in traffic get into an accident and now I waited 20 minutes in traffic and because of it I'm late to my appointment, right?
Yeah,
No more blaming other things, external things. Just take responsibility. I'm late, right?
Yes, or thank you for waiting for me.
And that's it.
Thank
It
you
ends.
for being here, and then drop it, and then it's fine. Then it's perfectly fine, and it doesn't hang because it's the frequency of it.
And I love the way she kind of very compassionate way of statement of anything. She'll say, if she makes an appointment to meet for lunch or something, she says, I'll meet you on so-and-so date for lunch, but the present moment will always determine if we meet or not. Right? Because who knows that we get into an accident, we are sick, what have you. So at that point in time, it's fact. The present moment is always the reality, like she says, right? Reality is God. Reality will determine whether we show up for something. Reality will determine if you're going to be on time. Reality will determine our mind, our ego will say, no, I will make it to that airplane on time. And something will happen, the TSA agent will delay us and we'll miss our flight. Right?
Yeah, Poonam, you bring up a really good perspective here, because like, let's say it's just a completely different vibrational frequency. And so when we're sharing with someone, we're sharing it from that spaciousness, and we're not sharing, the impulse for it is not to correct someone's view or understanding of us or what we or this of this identity. It's a and what a beautiful world that is evolving now, that we can sit with another person in horizontally imperfect and know that they have an absolute perfection, and so that we are sitting and spending our time with people that aren't having any chatter about us themselves. It's what a beautiful thing that we can offer each other, as well as compassion. Be kind to each other on this path, right? Is and stay committed to seeing and recognizing what comes up in the present moment. Whatever comes up, we can say yes to it. And may we say yes to the contraction that may happen when we have the desire to correct the illusion. Yeah.
And stated for the sake of sharing, and no, will the person change their opinion, not change their opinion? No expectations, without any expectations.
Yes.
Then the facts are the facts. These are the facts. I wanted to share these facts with you. And at the end of it, whether they understood or not understood, it doesn't matter. And nothing changes about us, right? They were spaciousness. They offered a field of spaciousness. They listened, and that's all that was needed.
Yeah, the key here to get the key takeaway here is to feel the impulse, because that impulse is the flame that begins the action. So check the impulse, and if there's any part of it, just see it. We see it like a scientist. You know, if we're going to do this work, we're going to come up against things that we've been running from for a long time. So just be gentle, go easy. A lot of good wisdom from you today. Thank you, Poonam.
Thank you, Parker. Thank you for bringing up the topic.